Hello and welcome back to Fully Baked Radio. You know who it is. It's Flip Marley, joined by
Vanessa, Vanessa Maria.
What's going on? We're here with another dope episode. And as promised, we got up here local street legend, hot on the music scene out here in Philly, go by the name of Louis Waved Up. And when when I was checking your bio out, it's crazy because you do a lot of things, man. You do a lot of things, and I was looking like, damn, this just looks like if I was reading like a bio or something of myself, So I definitely want to commend you for all the hard work you're putting in out there. It's definitely not going unnoticed. But before we go into all those hats that you wear, let's talk about you being the CEO of Street Legends, Wave Cartel, and how all that came about.
All right, for sure, man. Like first and foremost, you know what I mean. I like to appreciate y'all for having me up here. You know what I mean.
Likewise, thank you.
Fully baked radio. You know what I mean. That's why I got my sunglasses on right now. My eyes low. You heard?
Respect.
Saturday Night Live and all that. But more or less, Street Legends actually started off as a DVD venture that I had there. You know what I mean. It was a DVD series, and I actually had Meek Mill on my first DVD. You know, when he had the old cornrows and whatnot, and that kind of
At that point in time.
At that
you know what I
time,
mean?
it was a lot of people that didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we was going up New York and different places and whatnot. Some of them had just heard of him because he had dropped I'm a
Flair.
Boss, and you know what I mean, like hit records that was starting,
So
to go
around
up like
that
wildfire. But if you had your ear to the street, Street Legend DVD was bootleg way more than, you know what I mean, like the money I saw or whatever, which is a good thing, because it got me out there.
Definitely. So were you an artist first and then became CEO, or were you always on the business side of the music entertainment?
Oh yeah, I'm an artist by nature, you know what I mean? I'm a young OG like Fabulous, you know what I mean? So I'm 40, so, I came up, you know what I mean, wanting to emulate the guys that I saw coming up, the Big Daddy Kanes, the Run DMC, LL and all that, But more or less, like Street Legends, we got like a clothing line. Like you said, there's so many different hats that we got. It's so many different. We got MCs from different states and whatnot. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's a real movement. It's something that just didn't happen overnight. It's something that I was going from the trenches from 2008, like I said, and a little bit before that.
Definitely. Like I know for myself, like wearing so many hats and doing so many things, it's sometimes gets difficult to focus in on just one thing, but like you always have that one passionate thing that you're either actively working on to complete, or there's something next up. Like, what are you most passionate about?
Well, tell you the truth, I'm a little bit older. You know what I mean? The passion I used to have for the quote unquote MC part of this game, you know what I mean, is still there. But I'm more or less like more sense on the my passion is to see other people on my team make it. That's my passion. You know what I mean? Like I got a dope team.
As a true
You know what I'm
CEO.
saying? Like, so and it's about them. These guys are younger than me. They got hella talent. You know what I mean? Like COO of the companies with me, Young Dula. You know what I mean? He's hella dope. You know what I mean? Trenton's finest. You know what I mean? We got James. You know what I'm saying? Samuels, aka Macca, Roney. You know what I'm saying? A boss in his own right. You know what I mean? As well, he has his own. You know what I'm saying? Movement, clothing line, And this is a platform. You know what I mean? I'm happy to be here, man.
Most stuff. You're also into the film side of things. You're actually a member over here at Philly Cave, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, shout out to Philly Cave, man. Shout out to Ryan and the fellas, you know what I mean?
Ryan.
That's working for you,
man. Definitely I gotta renew my membership too, you know what I mean?
We're gonna take care of that. We ain't gonna let you leave without doing that.
Yeah, that's where it's at right now, you know what I mean? As far as the movie thing, shout out to T Black. He's actually a member, you know what I mean, of Philly Cam. And Philly Cam, like for those listeners out here, Philly Cam is definitely a great networking ground because I met a lot of good folks that, you know what I mean, are grounded. They teach you everything from the, you know what I mean, ground up. But we did Her Little Secret, which premiered, you know what I mean, last year. It sold out. It did pretty good. I had an extra role, and I wanted to see my little 15 minutes of fame. So I'm like, what's up with the movie? And I came in on the back end to make a long story shorter. You know what I mean? And I wound up being executive producer of the movie.
Mm.
So I was blessed with that. I'm in Chase Street. That's coming out now. March 10th, I think, is the date. The show is sold out. You know what I mean? And Chase Street is major. You know what I mean? It's directed by Derek Hammond. Clifton Powell is,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Some
One of
names
the
right here.
directors. Pinky, like,
Oh,
Pinky.
nice. Okay.
Major, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
One man.
that's what it is, man. You know, what they talking about the movie. I shot that, you know what I mean? Doula's in there, you know. This is so many different projects that, you know what I mean, we got coming out this year. I'm blessed. I'm in a good space, you know, and I'm learning. So
I love that because a lot of people who are Philly Cam, they start off with one thing, like just like TV or radio. They get into film, they get into
Right.
fashion shows, they get into poetry.
mhm.
There's just so much creativity.
And you know what? It all ties in together. You know what I mean? Like I write and I start off writing poetry. You know what I mean? Like for me at least, you know.
I
as
think
far
we
as-
are like storytellers, right? It's like
Exactly.
different ways to tell your story.
It might be something, you know, like me personally, I might speak through personal experience, something I seen or something that one of my friends had told me about, you know what I mean? So it all depends, you know. Some stuff, y'all make some stuff up, you know what I mean? You got to speak in third person
For real,
sometimes,
it's
you know what I mean?
entertainment.
For
You know,
sure.
it's entertainment. Donald Trump do it. Why not?
Now we all embellish a little bit, you know, live vicariously through others, but it's all good. I think, you know, being here, I work here, so I get to see all the talent come through.
Right.
And I really feel like, you know, people don't know about Philly, you know, because a lot of these people don't have exposure and they're not what's being played
For
on a
sure.
lot of other stuff. But the talent is like crazy. And Trenton, South Jersey, I mean, there's just a lot of people that come through here. And so it makes me proud to be from here, to be from a place
Right.
where there's just so much talent.
The city is lit right now. Shout out to the Eagles.
Philly
Yeah.
Cam is lit up green right now.
The whole city's lit
So
up green.
even though I'm a Raiders fan, I'm gonna go with the hometown boys because I don't like the Patriots.
That's how I feel. Yeah, I'm a Steelers
like
fan,
Tom
man.
Shady.
I've been talking about how my
Okay.
team choked this year. It's usually the Eagles that choke, so like I don't got no other choice but to root for the Eagles.
Our
you know
team
what I mean?
didn't give money to the Trump campaign, okay? That's all you
Straight
need
up.
to know. If
Straight
you don't
up.
know who to root for,
It's all the
If
pilots.
you want to take a knee, go to the
I'm gonna
Eagles.
play the fifth on that one.
Word.
no, but you know,
I'm running. Y'all vote for me 2020. You know what I mean?
Yo,
Really
man.
waved up. You know what I mean?
Looking
change is
for a
coming
running
again,
mate?
man.
Yeah.
Sure, man.
Might,
Like,
might as well all just get on the bandwagon.
can't be any worse than who's out there,
Exactly.
that's for sure.
I got
For
y'all.
real.
Just give all the checks to the White House. Just send checks in. You know what I mean? Take it from there.
Straight up. What would you do if you was become president?
I tell you what, if I was president, the first thing I would do was I would end homelessness, and like it would be nobody hungry in this country. You know what I
For
mean?
real.
Because we waste too much food, and we throw away. Like I seen Walmart. You know what I mean? I'm not getting to that politics, but it's a lot. Like every day we waste more food than we could be feeding half the world with the food we throw away every day. You know what I mean?
One third of all food that is sold in the U.S. is wasted, goes in the trash.
Yeah,
That's out of pocket.
Yeah, I think it's the hood poet Tupac that said, "We got money for wars, but can't feed the poor." And like that's a
Exactly.
super disconnect right there.
Pac.
Yeah, you
A
know what I
Pac
mean?
quote. See, look, you
Hood
can't-
poet right
you
there,
can't
man.
quote. See, I think you can always quote, you know what I mean, get good quotes from Pac. You know what I mean? Really say that about Biggie Smalls.
Ooh,
I said it, you know what I mean?
Ooh,
not
that's a
to
conversation.
Well, Pac was a poet.
Pac, but see what Pac was to me, I think he was like more of a revolutionary.
Yeah, more.
You know what
I think
His mom was like a Black Panther, you know? He
Yeah.
came from a intellectual, political
Yeah,
background.
he's definitely outside of NWA was like the rapper activist type of rapper before we knew what.
The raptivist.
Yeah, the
Right.
raptivist. That's the word I was looking for. He was the raptivist before we knew what to call a raptivist. You know, so shout out to Pac and NWA and all those legends right there.
He was ahead of his time, though. A lot of stuff he
is he
said.
alive? I'm about to say, is he alive or is he dead?
I think he's about to drop an album.
Oh, he's alive.
I seen his
Yeah,
hologram.
Drop an album.
He's alive.
You know what I mean?
I wish he was. I wish he'd come back and run for president.
Yeah. So, all types of talent happening up in Philly. You mentioned me, got Lil Uzi. There's Lights Camera.
Shout out to Lights Camera.
Yeah, he does his thing, man. Shout out to him on the
Shout
love.
out to
Even Tierra Whack. Like, what are you looking at? What do you look for in an artist to join your label or that to grab your ear and your attention?
Tell you the truth, I don't listen to none of it, man.
Yeah.
I don't, you know what I mean?
How does that work?
I listen to it. Tell you the truth, I look at, people's like ethics, their work ethic. Like I look at, like you said, I do my homework and whatnot. The drive, determination, it's a whole lot of different factors, you know what I mean? Because somebody says something to you don't mean that they're really about it when they have the opportunity that presents itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that, like, as a label, we're small knit, you know what I mean? But a lot of us have been around each other for a long time, you know what I mean? Like multiple years. You feel me? So I look for somebody that's looking to be loyal.
Yeah.
And, grow with not just me, you know what I mean? Just grow. If I can help you in some type of way from the time you sign a contract, the time you want to leave, go ahead. I'm not going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, what you mean you going? Okay. Nah, because I didn't came across that bridge already, and I think that we dealt with it as a company, you know what I mean, in a orderly fashion, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's 2018. I think, like, restricted artists is, like, becoming cliche in the music business. If you're still getting restricted or whatever, like...
I look for originality, you know what I mean?
But what you did touch on, and I agree completely with music and just everyday life, and that's work ethic, man. Like, people's work ethic is like, yeah, you can make a good song, but what's your work ethic like to keep going and keep doing another song? What's your work ethic like to create a movie and then create another great movie? You know
like
what I
me,
mean?
and I'm like, that's what I look for, but the way that I move now and the way I used to move is a whole lot different. It's because I got a different role now. It's like I'm more lazy. They'll say, man, do it over. Oh, man, how to do it? Like, I like it, man. It sounds good. It sounds good now. Do it over. That's how Dula is. Matt could definitely tell me, listen, man, I know you don't, just do it. He almost had it, man, but, and then when the engineer agrees with him, I'm like, gosh, man, I got everybody in the room telling me I got to do stuff over. Nah.
Phil knows, that's me. I'm the one being like, again.
But you got to do it the right way, though, the first time, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm stubborn in a lot of ways, you know what I mean? Because I'm stuck in my ways just by being in the, the industry independently for a while, and we do everything for the muscle,
So what's next? Is there anything you haven't conquered yet that you would like to, like any other creative outlets or industries that you could see yourself getting into in the next 10 years or so?
Let's go. Tell me when they're gonna legalize me.
Change with the times and expand the company.
Tell me when they're gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands up. Let's go. Tell me when they're gonna legalize me.
We got a compilation out that we're about to drop.
Tell me when they're gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands up. Let's go. Tell me when they're gonna legalize me.
We trying to work. My motto is, if I think big.
Tell me when they're gonna legalize me.
That's how we came into this year.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up. Let's go. Tell me when they're gonna legalize me.
You gotta be able to take a risk. A lot of people are scared to.
Tell me when they're gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Might not, you know what I mean?
Let's go. Tell me when they're gonna legalize me.
Go to the bank and get that check.
Tell me when they're gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
I want to.
Let's go. Tell me when they're gonna legalize me.
Make that happen.
Tell me when they're gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands up. Let's go. Tell me when they're gonna legalize me.
You know what I mean? That's the whole reason why people wanna.
Tell me when they're gonna legalize me.
Rocky or whoever.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
We create got home bus.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Well, who did you work for? Who did you do songs with? I mean, that's already.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
This is RCA Records, or this is so.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
But it doesn't work like that.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's
go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
I heard about you all hot, but this ain't that's not the route that you want.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
That's interesting that you mentioned that budget. Like,
pull your pants up or put your hands up.
people
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Because he had a budget, he had a team behind him, he had a business plan.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
I mean, it is a business.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
You know, the NBA star.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
I'm fortunate to be where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? Everybody doesn't make it.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Build up to that point.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
It's hard.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
You know what I mean? And I seen it happen. I'm like,
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
that's just because he kept at it.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Work it.
Like,
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
For Rain Man, you know, like the only, it's definitely like.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Stay there and stay dedicated.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
You know what I mean? With
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Online, we are always supporting
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
The movie, all that.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
right now, that's just
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
the works open.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
You know, if you come out to Lowe's,
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
they sold out the show, but they are
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
venue,
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
That's low steer, right?
yes.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Twitter just
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Once again, thank you.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Doing what it is that you do, don't stop.
Let's go.
Pushing that positivity.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
The show. Definitely don't make it your last.
appreciate
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
It's your host, Split Marley.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
6.5.
Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up, put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me.
Last time I went to a radio station, I bought different.
Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me.
When it's about Jersey, support Jersey, you feel me? When it's about CBS.
Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me.
Yeah, you know you came out pretty good.
Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me.
That was the what I didn't jump off the couch.
Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me.
You know what I mean? Oh, Nick, that wasn't no mic there. How you gonna have no mic?
Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Feel free, chop it up.
Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. One day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands. Let's go. Tell me one day gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
I'm about to take it.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
This shit lit.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
This work.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go.
I know.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
What's you? The
Tell me they gonna legalize me.
We had the weed lollipops at the time.
Pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. When they gonna legalize me.
I didn't even know he was there at
Tell
that
me
show.
when they
Yeah.
gonna
That
legalize
shit
me.
was crazy. That shit
Pull
was
your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize.
that shit. This year,
Tell
bro.
me when they gonna legalize.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. They gonna legalize me. Tell me gonna
Look at that
legalize.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let's go. Tell me when gonna legalize me.
See,
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
you going?
Let's go.
Now part of the
Tell me
season.
when they gonna legalize me.
Ain't no secret
It's like FIO.
anymore.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your
Nah,
hands.
like, what's
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
What's up? Yeah.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Let me find out
Let's go.
my man.
Tell me when they gonna legalize
This
me.
is very trying to grow.
They gonna legalize me.
Come on, right here, baby. We already turned.
Pants up or put your hands.
So, you know, and I'm about to do a little segment. That part, that free part, that part.
Gonna legalize me.
Oh, we get a stamp. We gonna pay $5 for the grocery.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I forgot to tell
When
you
they
that.
gonna legalize
I forgot to tell you that. I was saying just park in the parking lot. I was gonna give you the $5.
Pull your pants up or put your hands.
Yeah, my.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize.
Wait for y'all.
Alright.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Positive, like.
Pull your put your hands.
Yeah, when people ain't cursing and shit.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
You did. Yeah. Said damn. Yeah.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Yeah. I was about to quote
Pull
Pookie,
your
right?
pants up or put your hands.
I forgot what I was about to say. I was about to say shit, and I just had like shit.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Yeah.
I did that shit actually slip like that.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Put your pants up or put your
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
I know you speak him, remember?
Yeah.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Trying to hurry up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
I know, right? So I have
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
like 4 first topics that we just hit on briefly.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Like a wrap up. So
Let's go.
first one was,
Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
but they
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
They just have to find a location.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Yeah, I seen that. I thought that was pretty dope.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Executive Vice President now.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Yeah, they went like super Afrocentric.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's
And then I
go.
wanted to
Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Now that Philly's like
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Yeah.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Pull your pants up or put your hands up.
Let's go. Tell me when they gonna legalize me.
Guess who's back? It's Flip Marley and Fully Baked Radio on WPPM 106.5 FM, joined by Vanessa Maria and Jason, Mr. Lightside Arnold. Oh man, we had a pretty good show today. Really good show, actually. We had Mark from Sci-Fi call in. Had Louis Wave Duck from Street Legends, Wave Cartel drop in and give us a lot of musical insights. But before we go, we did still have some cannabis news to dish out to you guys. But before the cannabis news, something really big happened in PA this past week.
In Philly.
I keep on saying PA. You're right. In Philly, the nation as a whole is having an opioid epidemic, opioid crisis, and Philly just took a step further to combat that by allowing safe injection sites for people that would need to shoot up, but will be able to shoot up safely. So pretty much a person will purchase their product from the street or wherever it is that they'll get it from. They'll have these safe locations. The person may go to these safe locations and inject their product into them safely. Very interesting. But it's worked around the country and the world.
Yeah, basically they declared that they want to establish medically supervised facilities where people can inject drugs, be revived if they overdose, but most importantly then be helped into treatment. So that's a pretty big deal because it will be one of the first in the country. There's currently needle exchange programs, which I think is like the first step that, the city started taking. It was very controversial when they came out.
Yeah.
Did it in Philly first, I believe, and then Camden, Atlantic City, Patterson, I believe, has it, Newark. And yeah, it was very, very controversial. Drug Policy Alliance, a lot of people don't know. They were behind that when they first started. And they did that because the rates of HIV, tuberculosis, hepatitis C was really high. And people, they can't afford to get needles. They're not trying to get needles in the middle of the night. Exactly. And it's like sharing needles was one of the main reasons people were transmitting diseases. And when they started opening sites, it definitely helped in lowering the rate of contracting these illnesses, also reduce the number of overdoses. And when people kind of come through these places, they can interact with medical professionals, social workers, people that can help them get into treatment. So the idea behind the safe injection sites is along the same path where, they can be revived with Narcan if they, inject over there. They've done this in other countries like Switzerland, Portugal, with positive results.
Yeah, it works.
So,
it works. And
it makes sense.
It's a big thing that would, good partners of ours preach about, LEAP, law enforcement against prohibition. And it's not just about cannabis, it's all drugs in their eyes should be legal. And I feel the same way. It should not be up to the law on what a person wants to put in their body. Like, that's overkill. That's
freedom.
That's too big brotherish right there. So,
yeah, I guess a lot of people are asking, where are they going to put it? Because, people are like, not in my neighborhood. And that's a good question, right? Where are they going to put these sites?
Personally, if I was in Philadelphia, I would want one in my neighborhood. Because as of right now, I don't know about Philly. I'm over in Trenton. Man, you can find needles, heroin bags, all types of stuff just laying in our neighborhoods as is. Trent, if you guys plan on doing that, put it in my neighborhood so I don't have to see all these like hideous things all over the ground.
Well, I live near one of the biggest heroin infested neighborhoods in the city. I live one neighborhood over. So I see these people firsthand, riding the bus, taking the L right into Allegheny. They're everywhere. And, I feel like these people need help. They should get the treatment that they need. They should be able to go somewhere clean and safe because they're going to do it either way. They're going to do the bridges. They're going to do it in these train tracks, all these crazy places. Yes. And just makes it more unsafe. Definitely. And I just hope that by going to these places that they then would be encouraged to get treatment and all that.
Yeah, straight up. Like I said, I think all drugs should be legalized. All right. Well, big up to Philadelphia and making that happen. Um, over in Oregon. So we've always heard the stories about Las Vegas and these other states running out of weed once they actually hit legalization. Oregon has the opposite problem. They actually have, plus they have too much weed in their state, and right now it's to the point where it's becoming like a legal problem. I think they said over 20,000 pounds of weed was confiscated in 2017 alone. And in Oregon, as of right now, there's 900 licensed recreational growers and over 1,100 people still waiting for approval. And there's 25,000 medical marijuana growers. What's the difference between the recreational growers and the medical marijuana growers? I'm not quite sure. But they have almost 30,000 people involved in their program growing cannabis alone. So right now Oregon has, I wouldn't call it a problem, but they got a lot of weed on their hands. Let's say that.
Send it to the East Coast.
Right.
I know some places that can utilize it.
Pretty much.
What else you got in the recap?
Just over the weekend, Little Women Grow had their leadership summit over in Colorado. And honestly, when I first heard it, I'm like, okay, Women's Grow Summit, they're going to talk about their 2017, what they're going to do in 2018, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure they touched on that, but they shook Women Grow up, like salt shaker status. So Jane West, who was the founder and the lead person running Women's Grow, has actually stepped down, and her replacement is Dr. Shonda Macias.
Well, first of all, they sold Women Grow. We gotta get that out of the way.
I tried to be nice about it, but
no,
yeah,
but that's true. I mean, they didn't just be like, "Oh, hey, here's the company leadership for you." No, it's a business transaction. Women Grow sold part of its company to Shonda. Shonda's now Dr. Shonda. I should say Dr. Shonda. Now is the majority owner and chairwoman, which is a big deal because Women Grow has been criticized for being like a white women organization, and now it is led by an American doctor from D.C. who's a dispensary owner and who's just an overall like awesome person.
Straight up. And it doesn't even just like awesomeness doesn't end with her. So also a couple changes to the board were bear with me a second. Gia Moran. Gia, of course, she was on the show. She's really close people and really good friends with us. She was actually appointed to the executive vice president of Women's Grow. So big shout out to Gia on that.
Yeah. Clap it up. Let's just give it up for Black Girl
Magic. Yeah, for real. It's happening. Can't get any better.
Money talks. You know what I'm saying? And they had the capital, they had the availability, they had the mindset, all of that to move in and I'm not gonna say take over, but
it's a takeover.
Move in on this industry. I think it's needed. I think they'll provide amazing leadership. I think they'll really change the image of the organization, make it more inclusive. I'm just really excited because I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to say I hated Women Grow, but just in general, I'm suspect of organizations that don't have a lot of people of color involved in the leadership. It's one thing to be a member, but if they don't have POC on the board in the management executive positions, they're suspect to me. So when you see people of color, women of color, in positions of power, being able to make decisions, it's just like very encouraging, and I feel like excited. Like, okay, now changes are going to happen. Because when you're in the decision-making position, you can actually make real change.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to see what's going to come of it. And I expect that there'll be an expansion and inclusion of more women of color. So
Yeah.
hats up to y'all.
Yeah, powerful, powerful. We've talked about Women Grow and, like the separation that it has from like the activist part of the community because it is a for-profit. There's nothing wrong with for-profits. But yeah, just the direction and then the early kickstart of it was not very exclusion.
Well, Dr. Shonda is she's an advocate. She really is. She's had her voice and her presence out there in a lot of different avenues. I Googled her. I was curious.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, this is a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
This is
her track record.
Yeah, she has a really great background. She's a true advocate. So I'm with it.
Yeah. Dope. We're big up to girl Gia and Shonda. Hopefully we get you guys on the show one day. Let us know about the plans and all that good stuff for Women's Grow.
Yep.
All right, I think it's about that time. We could wrap it up.
It's time for the hot box, though. We got to throw a couple people in there before we leave.
Ooh, who you got in mind?
Well, who don't I have in mind? That's a better question.
Right.
People aren't paying attention, but you should be paying attention to all the stuff going on with the federal government right now. There's some shakeups at the FBI.
Oh, the memo?
Some memos and things being released.
Memo. I'm
not going to get into it, but read about it. Find out what's happening. Find out what's happening with Trump and all of that. I'm going to be bold. This is a bold statement, but I'm throwing the Democrats and Joe Kennedy in the hot box for their weak response to the State of the Union. And for picking somebody who voted against universal health care and legal marijuana, who's from Massachusetts and who's against it. Like, I just feel like they're going to put themselves in the same predicament that they were in last time in choosing a candidate that's not really representative of the constituents. And, like, people are already going, like, Joe Kennedy 2020. Like, nah. No.
Cory Booker, son.
I mean, I just feel like whoever you put up there has to be somebody that is a true progressive and doesn't have all these ties to corporations and like shady donors. And he's like a multi-millionaire. He's like one of the richest members of Congress. Like, we just need to stop, putting these 1%ers, at the top. I'm just over it. So, Democratic Party, DNC, I'm sorry, but y'all going in the hot box because that was weak. Although, excluded from the hot box is Auntie Senator Maxine Waters because she gave a response that was pretty dope and exactly what needed to be said. And she went on BET to do it on the Angela Rye show. And I didn't expect anything less from her. She really went there. She called out what was going on, and she had harsh words for President Trump. That's who I'm putting on 2020. We need Auntie Maxine to lay down the law. But I just feel like we need stronger messages to counter what's being put out there. That's just me, though.
Man, if I had to throw someone in, I'll have to say Remain. Yeah, he's still dragging his feet on like the legalization process. What are we, like 2 years in? Las Vegas is already converted, California converted, and Massachusetts is converting. And we just have Maine up there just chilling. He signed it. He signed it for the people. The majority wanted it. This was a voter initiative that got kicked off. They're saying like talks are still progressing, whatever that means, 2 years down the line. But yeah, I just want to know what's going on with Maine. Like, Vermont just legalized, Jersey's about to legalize. What's Maine waiting on to legalize? Like, let's get this going. What's the holdup? So, yeah, governor got to go on to Maine.
I got 2 more groups to go in the hot box. The Grammys happened recently. The Oscar nominations went out. It's still not enough people of color being nominated. Still not enough women. It's just, come on, stop. Racist, it's sexist. We're
it's
over
on purpose
it.
now.
I read a report about the Grammys that from 2012 to 2018, I think, only 9% of the nominees were women. 9%. Come on. I'm sorry, but no. And they didn't let Lorde perform. She was the only female that was like nominated, I think, in the best album category. They wouldn't let her perform. I'm sorry, but that's just stupid. And then with the Oscars, they did a little bit better. Shout out to Jordan Peele. Get Out.
Oh yeah.
Got a lot of nominations. You know, good for him. Guillermo del Toro with The Shape of Water also got a lot of nominations. That's cool. But, you know, still, you know, most of the awards are going to white people. They did a lot to diversify the Academy. It's still, like, not enough. I didn't see no Latinos, because, again, I'm going to represent my peoples, no Latinos nominated for Best Actor, Best Actress, Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress. Come on. You need to stop with all that. So, you know, and last but not least, I'm going to throw the Patriots in the hot box.
Get them.
Before you decide to cheat the Super Bowl, and by the time this airs, hopefully the Eagles will have won already. Stop what you're cheating and Trump loving. Reflect.
Straight up. All of them are Trump supporters. Belichick, Brady, all of them.
Yes.
I got somebody that
Who you got?
I can't remember his name, but I can't forget his face. It was a lawmaker in like Kansas or something. The guy who said that blacks are genetically like we're genetically something's wrong with our genetics why we react to cannabis in a certain way. Y'all didn't see that video? Hear that guy?
It's like what you're probably talking about is like eugenics and eugenicists. People who believe that African Americans are inferior and physically
it was the
different.
Same Reefer Madness mind frame in which he was talking, but he was speaking to and he was speaking in such a convincing manner, like really telling people like, well, blacks shouldn't smoke weed. I'm not saying weed is bad or whatever, but you know, black people react to it differently from, you know.
I've heard people say that black people gay. It makes them stupid. I mean, they're okay. Let's just